Welcome to Vedic Ganit discipline of knowledge. Today in step 8, our focus is going to be upon Divya Ganga Parvaha, a transcendental flow along the Sthapatya miring rod, and it is as such the ultimate processing step of Vedic systems. Vedic systems are working parallelly as Yoganishtha and as Sankhyanishtha. Yoganishtha works upon the geometric formats in a dimensional frames, but presumes the existence of artifices of numbers, values of numbers. On the other hand, Sankhyanishtha avails artifices of numbers, but presumes the existence of the dimensional frames or geometric formats. So here, values, numbers values, and their artifices are being availed, and these are being availed along the geometric formats. Yoganishtha works with dimensional frames of geometric formats along the values of numbers. Therefore, values of numbers and the geometric formats are the pair of mathematical entities. So numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on, and geometric formats interval, square, cube, hypercube 4, hypercube 5, hypercube 6. These 6 representative regular bodies of 1 to 6 space synthesize and make a Sthapatya miring rod. Values 1 to 6 are the values which take us to the first perfect number 6. So it is this value 6 as a 6th perfect number, and it is here the Sthapatya miring rod of hypercube 1 to hypercube 6, leading us to Sun, Surya, 6 space body. So it is 6 number value, and it is here 6 space. Therefore 6 space and value 6 are the pair of entities. 6 and 6 space are the pair of entities. We work out value 6 in terms of 6 space body, and we will work out 6 space body in terms of value 6. Let us make a note. Let us open a new page. Let us make an entry as that today we are focusing upon Divya Ganga Parvaha. This Divya Ganga Parvaha is the ultimate processing step. It is the end reach value of the processing steps of Vedic system. Now, before that, let us revisit that Yoganishtha and Sankhyanishtha run parallel to each other, and these are complementary and supplementary of each other. Make a note, Yoganishtha is a processing system in terms of dimensional frames of geometric formats, availing the artifices of numbers values as the format. On the other hand, Sankhyanishtha is a processing system which works out in terms of the artifices of numbers along the geometric formats. A step ahead, now let us revisit the formulation Divya Ganga Parvaha reach at the TCV values. Formulation Divya leads to value 17. Formulation Ganga leads to value 14. Value Parvaha leads to value 39. And as such, Divya Ganga Parvaha leads us to value 70. This value 70 reach is as such the ultimate processing reach of the Vedic system. We will come to it. Now this Divya Ganga Parvaha as such is along the artifices components of soul syllable Om. Soul syllable Om is a quadruple component setup. First component is Bindu Sarovar, second is Ardhamatra, third is Tripundaram, and fourth is Swastik Pada. Now these formulations, Bindu Sarovar leads us to value 65, formulation Ardhamatra leads us to value 29, Tripundaram leads us to value 53, and Swastik Pada leads us to value 50, and this sequentially leads us to the summation value 197. When there is going to be a Pravaha means when we are having a flow from the origin of the sun, means at the origin of the sun, means at the orb of the sun, there is going to be a placement of a Bindu Sarovar. Bindu Sarovar is placed at the origin of 6 space. We know 6 space is having 13 geometries range. Therefore, value 13 is available to us inherently as the format, and along this there is a flow of, we know, 197 values, and 197 plus 13 gives us value 210. It is this value 210 and 70 value of Divya Ganga Pravaha which makes a value 280. It is the fundamental value. Let us make a note that Divya Ganga Pravaha along the artifices of soul syllable Om is a flow from orb of the sun, which is a seat of the origin of the sun, which in fact is a seat of pole star 7 space in the role of an origin. Now the flow is to be from 6 space domain, so it is of 13 geometries range. So this format from where there is going to be a flow is of value 13, and this flow along Bindu Sarovar, Ardhamatra, Tripundaram and Swastik Pada leads to value 197. So this value plus 197 is value 210 plus Divya Ganga Pravaha value is 280. Therefore, Divya Ganga Pravaha is conceptually a processing step of value 280. Now we know value 280 is equal to 28 into 10. Value 28 is the value of a Brahm, and we know that Brahm is a self-stimulating of the 28 gaps of 29 points range, and value 29 is the TC value of a Brahma. Lord Brahma, Creator the Supreme, gets self-stimulation from the Brahm. Further we know that Lord Brahma meditates within cavity of his own heart. So Lord Brahma is meditating within the cavity of his own heart, where is the seat of a transcendental Lord. So transcendental Lord Shiv, with the grace of the transcendental Lord Shiv, Lord Brahma multiplies as 10 Brahmas, as a raised to power 5 is equal to 10 b raised to power 4, means a transcendental domain, 5 space domain, is enveloped within a creative boundary of 10 components. This transcendental phenomenon, because of the transcendental grace resulting into multiplication of Brahma as 10 Brahmas, will lead to the stimulating value 28 into 10 is equal to 280, and it is the value of a Divya Ganga Pravaha. Let us sit comfortably. Let us permit the transcending mind to be parallel to with this Brahman stimulation for the self-organizing creator. Lord Brahma, creator the supreme, with the Brahman stimulation from within and the meditation of Lord Brahma within cavity of his own heart at the seat of the transcendental Lord, provides him the transcendental grace, and as a result thereof Lord Brahma multiplies as 10 Brahmas, and with it the total value, this Brahman stimulation value, which is to flow as a Divya Ganga Pravaha, is going to be the value 280. It is this value 280 which is the basic value range. Further, we know that 3 space is in the role of a dimension of a 5 space. So Lord Shiv is a transcendental Lord, and it is a Lord of 5 heads, with each head equipped with a triple eyes. Therefore, it is this value 3 as a solid dimensional order, which is responsible for the reach at the Brahman stipulation value 280. Therefore, this entire phenomenon as such becomes a phenomenon of total value 283. One may have a pause here and be face to face with this range of value 283 for the Brahman stimulation value of 280 stimulus with the solid dimensional frame value 3, making it a value 283. Make a note that it is this reach of value 283 which is manifesting as 16 Ganita Sutras of 283 letters text. Let us sit comfortably. Let us permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this phenomenon of manifestation of Divya Ganga Pravaha as of the range value 283, which is parallel to the range of 283 letters being availed by the text of Ganita Sutras. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. One shall be very slow, one shall be very gentle, one shall be very sensitive, one shall be conscious enough to be face to face with this manifestation phenomenon of a Divya Ganga Pravaha as Ganita Sutras text of 283 letters. Once we are face to face with it, Once we are imbibing this value, then we shall be having appropriate insight and appropriate enlightenment about the Vedic Ganit as a discipline of Vedic Ganit of the Ganita Sutras. One shall make a full expression, one shall express oneself fully about one's comprehension of this phenomenon of manifestation of Brahman stimulation within the cavity of heart, within the gaps of value 29, 28 gaps of 29 points range as a stimulus within the cavity of heart of Lord Brahma, and as there is a seat of the Transcendental Lord and the grace of the Transcendental Lord as Transcendental grace will result into multiplication of Brahma as 10 Brahmas, making Brahman stipulation value as of 280 value. This together with the solid order base value 3 will make value 283, which is parallel to the range of 283 letters of the text of Ganita Sutras. Therefore, now let us revisit 6 space hypercube 6. Hypercube 6 we know is enveloped by a transcendental boundary of 12 components. A raised to power 6 is to 12 b raised to power 5 is the domain boundary formulation. Therefore, these 12 boundary components will get fixed in terms of 72 coordinates. Now these 72 coordinates C accept an organization as 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14 plus 18 plus 22. 2 we know is the value of hypercube 1 because minus 1, 0, 1 and 2 gives a summation value which is 2. And 6 is the value of the hypercube 2. 10 is the value of hypercube 3. 14 is the value of hypercube 4. 18 is the value of hypercube 5. And 22 is the value of hypercube 6. So see, these 72 coordinates fixation of the transcendental boundary as such is of the range of hypercube 1, hypercube 2, hypercube 3, hypercube 4, hypercube 5 and hypercube 6. Therefore, this transcendental boundary of hypercube 6 is in fact is of the format of a Sthapatyamay ring rod synthesized by hypercubes 1 to hypercube 6. Let us sit comfortably and let us have full expression of our comprehension while we are face to face with this phenomenon of the transcendental boundary of 12 components of self-referral domain 6 space sun. This is a transcendental boundary, a boundary of Akash Tattva of our solar universe. Our sun is enveloped within a space. This space Tattva is the fifth element. This fifth element is a 5 space content phenomenon. Therefore, our sun is enveloped in a space fulfilled with transcendental content. Now this transcendental content which is enveloping sun and this transcendental content which is making a transcendental boundary, and this transcendental boundary having fixation as 72 coordinates and this coordination has 72 coordinates and is a split of value 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14 plus 18 plus 22, which is parallel to the fourfold manifestation layers of hypercube 1, hypercube 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Therefore, this transcendental boundary of 6 space, this transcendental Akash Tattva enveloping our Surya, making our solar universe domain of transcendental content, becomes a expression along the Sthapatya miring rod. Once we are face to face with this phenomenon, then we shall be comprehending as to how the Vedic systems are having a parallel processing steps of the values along the geometric formats and geometric formats in terms of the values of number. Therefore, one shall sit comfortably and one shall make a specific note. It shall be given a note as that the Yoga Nishtha works with the geometric formats, dimensional frames. Now, here geometric format is of hypercubes 1 to 6. It is Sthapatya miring rod. Therefore, here the Yoga Nishtha would mean working along the Sthapatya miring rod. Now, this Sthapatya miring rod is having a values of format 72 coordinates. Now, it is this value. So, these values are being availed as a format and it is being worked out as these dimensional frames. And on the other hand, as a Sankhya Nishtha, this is being presumed as a available format and this chase is being done. This chase of values along the geometric formats finds its expression as a study zone of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. One shall sit comfortably and one shall permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this Srimad Bhagavad Gita study zone. It is of the format of hypercubes 1 to 6 a reach from the one end and then it is from the opposite end. So it is a reach at the interval from its both ends. Now first reach is from the first end, second reach is from other hand. Both are in opposite orientations and ultimately the middle is being reached from both orientations. Now here we see that hypercube 1 will lead to our coordinates 2, but this leads to coordinates 8 and 8 is equal to 2 plus 6. The 3 takes us to coordinates 18 and it amounts to 2, 6 plus 10. The 4th leads us to coordinates going to be 32 and it is equal to 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14. Like that, from this end we are reaching at the boundary and from the other end as well we are reaching at the boundary. It is this reach which will help us appreciate that from the origin of the sun, which is a seat of a 7 space where there is a Saptadhara, this Saptadhara, and we know here the coordinate value is 50 for the transcendental 5th domain, and so 50 into 7 gives us value 350. So 350 is the value from the first orientation and 350 is the value from the other orientation. But in both cases we know we are reaching at the 6th space, is hypercube 6, and this hypercube 6 is a fourfold manifestation layer 4, 5, 6 and 7 of value 22. It would be blissful to take note that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a scripture of 18 chapters. So first 9 chapters are having value 350 minus 22, while the 10th to 18th chapters having 350 plus 22 is equal to 372 shlokas range, and first part is having of 328 shlokas range. Now this value 22 is the value of a hypercube. Therefore it is here that this hypercube 6 is in fact of a double phase, first phase and the second phase. So reach from the first phase and the double second phase of value 22 will help us appreciate 350 and then 350, and here is the subtraction if, and here is the addition of this. So this surface is as such is dispensed with. It is how the Vedic systems are having exhaustive coverage of the space tattva, Akash tattva, as the transcendental content, as a 5-space content fulfilling our solar universe. This solar universe is enveloped by a Akash tattva, by the transcendental domain, that means by a 5-space domain. Now when we want to have exhaustive coverage of the space, exhaustive coverage of the space around the sun, so the exhaustive coverage of the space around the sun is an attempt, successful attempt, exhaustive attempt, fully enlightened attempt of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. One shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be parallel to the organization format of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as a scripture of 700 shlokas, organized as 18 chapters, with the first half of 9 chapters leading us to value 350 minus 22, and second half leading us to value 350 plus 22, and value 22 is the value of the fourfold manifestation layer of hypercube 6. One shall sit comfortably, one shall permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this phenomenon. Now let us see that this 6-space and 12 boundary components, and each component being a 5-space content, it gives us a value 5 into 12 into 6 is equal to 360. It is a Saman month. It is our normal year of 360 days. Now here is a center 7 space. Therefore from here there is going to be a Saptadhara. So this Saptadhara going to be such that it will be giving us a Diviganga flow of 11 steps multiplied by 7 as 77. So 360 minus this Pravaha will be giving us value 283. So Ganita Sutras together with this Diviganga Pravaha and the Saptadhara, the origin, together is the total flow of the values from the origin of the sun. So what is flowing from the origin of the sun, from the orb of the sun, which is a seat of 7 space. So this seat value 7 plus Divya Ganga Pravaha value 70 makes it total value 77. Now this value 77, when is adjusted against the total available value 360, remaining value remains 283. Therefore, Ganita Sutras, 16 Ganita Sutras text is of letters 283 plus it is a Divya Ganga Pravaha value 70 plus it is a seat value of the origin. So the total flow of Jyoti from the orb of the sun as of value 360 gets organized as value 7 for the seat of the origin, value 70 as a Divya Ganga Pravaha, and 283 value as the Ganita Sutras. With it, let us sit comfortably. Let us be face to face with this organization as to how the Ganita Sutras are manifesting the flow of the Jyoti from orb of the sun, which is a seat of the origin, pole star, seventh space, and then there is a format of a Divya Ganga Pravaha along the soul syllable Om, and the rest flow are our Ganita Sutras. With it, we will be blissfully face to face with the phenomenon of the eternity format of the Ganita Sutras. Therefore, the students, sadhakas, shall make a specific table of these 10 conceptual terms and their symbols. First term is a Bindu Sarovar, second term is Ardhamatra, third is Tripundaram, fourth is Swastik Pada, fifth is a Shan, it is a northeast diagonal, then is a Saptadhara, then it is going to be Bim, means the image of a three-dimensional frame when it splits into a pair of three-dimensional frames of opposite orientations. And again, it is a Pratibimb because we know that Swastik Pada as such is having a split in such a way, and then there is a Om formulation. And let us make this table. Let us be face to face with these formulations. Let us be face to face with these symbols. And then in terms thereof, let us reach at a Divya Ganga Pravaha. The Pravaha from the Bindu Sarovar going to be of 7 streams. Then these make triple streams and it leads to Ishan Kod. And then it is how it is here when the Saptadhara is having an opposite orientation. Now, it is this way that the Vedic systems, Vedic format, Vedic processing steps, Vedic chase steps are coordinated, organized, arranged as a manifested format of the complete mathematical chase of the existence phenomenon of our solar universe. Therefore, this Anka Ganit as a discipline of the Vedic mathematics, the mathematics of the Ganita Sutras, is a ancient phenomenon, eternal phenomenon, and it is in terms of values of this mathematics that the grammarized knowledge, organization of Samhitas as grammarized scriptures had been reached. And for this reach, we had to be face to face with this 6x8 grid, then how the values 1 to 7 of single pair and solid dimensions work, the solid spectrum, how the Khetragya works, how the Gyani Pravahi is there. All these features are to be taken as the immediate processing steps of Divya Ganga Pravaha as the ultimate processing reach of Vedic Anka Ganit as a discipline of Vedic mathematics of Ganita Sutras. Thank you very much.